All right, it's Monday, Mellow Monday. A lot of excitement today. Let's look at multiplying with decimals today. This is going to cover lessons 7-7 and 7-8. Now I'm going to give you good news right away. We're still multiplying. Not much has changed. Let's look. Let's review how to multiply two-digit numbers. Okay? Now we're going to first look at the 4 and multiply everything across the top by the 4. So 4 times 2 is 8, and then 4 times 3 is 12. We can put both those numbers down because that's the last number across the top. Now I'm done with the 4, so I have to put a 0 down for that mark of that thing. That's what, so a lot of you forgot. You have to hold that place. You can leave a space, but I like putting a 0 down because then you don't forget. Okay, now I'm going to multiply the 2 by all the numbers across the top. 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. Done multiplying all the numbers across the bottom, so now I add my 2 rows together. I get 8, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 6 plus 1 is 7. Total is 768. Okay, a little review. Now the good news about today is that will not change. Nothing changes when it comes to multiplication. We're just going to add a step at the end. Look here. I've got two problems that are very similar right now. Actually, they're exactly the same. We're going to solve the first one, and then we're going to look and see what we do with the second one. Okay? So 2 times 1 is 2. Or I should say 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Done with the 1. Put down my 0. Now I take 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. Now I add the 2 rows together. 2, 4 plus 3 is 7, and 6. The answer is 672. What happens, though, if I put a decimal in that spot there and that spot there? Now, instead of 32 times 21, I have 3 and 2/10 times 2 and 1/10. What's really cool about multiplying with decimals is I'm going to pretend like they're not there. I'm going to ignore them to start. I'm going to multiply exactly the same way I did, and you'll see how exact it is. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Done with the 1, put down a 0. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Add them together now. 2, 7, and 6. Now to this point, they look exactly the same. When I multiply with decimals, now I'm going to add one step to the end. Okay? I'm going to use black to mark it. Here I have, in the top number, one digit after the decimal. In the bottom number, I have one digit after the decimal. That's 2 places that come after the decimal in the problem. So in my answer, I need that many places. So I'm going to put my decimal right here, leaving 2 places after the decimal. So now, notice the numbers are the same, but after putting in my decimal, now my answer is 6 72/100. So all I have to do is add a step at the end of the problem when I'm multiplying with decimals. And that's counting how many places in the problem come after the decimal, and then put that total number of places in the answer. So the multiplying is exactly the same. You do the multiplying exactly the same, and you just add that putting in the decimal at the end step. So we're learning just one more step to add to it today. Just one more step up the ladder. Let's look at this one. Okay? I ignore everything else, and I'm just going to multiply the 6 times 8, which is 48. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. Okay? 6 times 8 is 48. How many places do I have after the decimal? I have 1 place. So I need 1 place in my answer after the decimal. So 8/10 times 6 is 4 8/10. I simply add that step at the end. Very simple. All right. Let's have you try one now. Pause your video, work this problem, multiply it just like it's 40 times 3. Then put in your decimal. I'll do the work your problem with you when you're done. All right. So 3 times 0 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. Done multiplying. I have one number after my decimal. That's it, so I need one number after the decimal. 12 3/10. not too bad. All right, ooh, lots of zeros. Doesn't matter. Multiply this problem out. Again, pause your video and come back and see how you did. All right, 9 times 5 is 45. 5 down there, 4 up here. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 4 is 4. 9 times 0 is 0, okay? And I'm done multiplying. Now, how many places do I have after the decimal? 1, 2, 3. So I need 3 places in my answer. 1, 2, 3. I put my decimal there. 45 thousandths. So 5 thousandths times 9 is 45 thousandths. Makes sense. All right. Now, pause your video. I want you to solve number 1 and 2. Now notice that the numbers are the same, so you might be able to take a shortcut on number 2 if you catch it. Pause your video. I'll give you a minute, and then we'll solve the problems with you. All right, so 4 times 2 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, done with the 4, put down a 0. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. I am done. I can add 6. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, now multiplying that without the decimals, you're going to see what I'm going to be able to do in problem number 2 as my shortcut. Okay, now in this problem, I have no decimals in the bottom number, or no numbers after the decimal in the bottom number, and I have 1, 2 decimals in the top number, so I need 2 decimals in my answer. My answer is 4 and 46 hundredths. Okay, now looking at number 2, I had the same exact numbers, so aren't I going to get 4, 4, 6 when I multiply? Yeah, I go through all the same steps. I'm going to get the same thing. So now that I've done the multiplying of 32 times 14, I can apply that to problem number 2, and now I can just look and see how many numbers I have at the decimal. I have 1 number after the decimal in the bottom number, and I have 1 number after the decimal in the top number. That's 2 numbers, 1, 2. Now, how many of you would have thought when we started this problem that the answers to 1 and 2 would be the same? 32 hundredths times 14 is 4 and 46 hundredths, and on number 2, 3 and 2 tenths times 1 and 4 tenths is also 4 and 46 hundredths. See a pattern there? You might be able to use this to save yourself some work. Since you've already done the work in 1, you can apply it to 2 and then just put your decimal in that last step at the end. All right. Speaking of the devil, here's a place where we can use this, okay? Problem number 1, we have 3 times 4, okay? 3 times 4 is what? 3 times 4 is 12. How many numbers after the decimal? We have 1, 2, right? So I need 1, 2, decimal 1, 2. Now, when the only numbers we have in any of these problems is actually 12, isn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and put a 12. I'm going to leave some space because I might have to add some zeros to the front or the back. But it's 3 times 4 is 12. We're going to do we'll do the next couple together, and then I'll have you finish. Okay? Now, with 46, I've got 1 number on this side and 1, 2 numbers on this side. That's a total of 3. Well, I've got 1, 2. I need to add a 0 here so I can put my decimal in and have 3 numbers after the decimal. See how I did that? Now, let's look at number 47. I've got 1, 2, 3 numbers on this side, plus another one over here. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put in my decimal. See how I did that? All right. I want you to finish 48 through 52, and I'll come back with the answers with you in a minute. Pause your video and go ahead and do that. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3 numbers. So I need 1, 2, 3 numbers. And there is my 12 thousandths. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 10,000ths. Number 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I got a big number. Decimal 00012. I'm not going to try to read that out. Don't need to. Okay. Now I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Decimal in. Last one. Ooh, it's a tough one. I've only got one. So I've got one number after the decimal. So I have 1 and 2/10. All right. So multiplying with a decimal is just adding one more step, which is putting the decimal in at the end of the problem by counting how many places are after the decimal in the problem. All right, it's time to get busy. You are going to be doing homework and remembering 7-7, and then just homework 7-8. That's 3 sheets today, 3 of them practicing, okay? So we got a little extra time with our schedule today, so get started right away. Homework and memory 7-7 and only homework 7-8. All right, you do not have to do remembering 7-8. All right, and today's song is dedicated to the Goofy Boys in my 2 classes.
Puppy, monkey, baby. 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 Puppy, monkey, baby.